We're back here live in the hall, and with me is Jeff Hewitt of it's called Visit Savannah. And
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff going on here at the Trade Center, where we're having our convention, but there's a lot to see and do in Savannah while they're visiting, and hopefully they'll find some time to get out there and do some of these things. What would you say, if you're coming to Savannah, what are some of the things that what are the must-sees or the must-dos?
Wow.
How many times can they come back to do it all?
That's a long list. And it really depends on where people's interests lie.
Mm-hmm.
If they're history buffs, there's so much to see and do. There's, Savannah being established in 1733
Mm-hmm.
was the original colonial capital of the state of Georgia.
Right.
And so there's just a tremendous amount of history that goes back 270 years. There's the fortresses that served as protection during the war between the states, and there's the history component. There's a movie component.
That's right. Savannah has become quite the place, as a lot of Georgia cities are now experiencing, that Hollywood treatment. But Savannah was certainly a place a destination for movie studios, probably well before the tax credits kicked in. What are some of the movies that have been, do you know off the top of your head?
Well, goodness. Most recently and probably most famously would be the movie Forrest Gump.
Yes.
And if you were to visit Chippewa Square, you can see the actual location where Forrest Gump sat on the park bench with his box of chocolates and explained to all the people waiting for the bus how life was like a box of chocolates. And actually right across from where the park bench sat is the church steeple where that white feather floated down. And so there's aspects of the movie that can be visited. Right. There was also the movie and the book that puts the book Midnight in the Garden Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, and all the components and actually the real true people. It's a true story.
Right.
And those were real people that still live here in town for the most part. And you can go to the places and see their homes and the places where they work.
Relive that book without the unhappy ending, I guess.
Yes. And the Bird Girl.
That's right.
Who was on the cover of the book.
Mm-hmm.
and made Bonaventure Cemetery famous, now resides in the Telfair Museum.
Okay, so that's another great place to go. And I think the way SCAD has influenced Savannah, the Savannah College of Art and Design, you could just do a simple walking tour of Savannah and see these beautiful buildings that they have been involved in, the artwork, just that alone could fill up an afternoon.
Yes, and SCAD has a brand new museum, the Museum of Art, Craft, and Design. And again, just a beautiful, beautiful museum. What they've done is they've restored one of the old train station depots, and they maintained that architecture and incorporated it into the new design. So it's a beautiful combination of old and new, and that's so much of what Savannah is.
Yes.
Savannah's kind of like the debutante and the crazy cousin all in one. It's a destination full of characters, and we encourage you to go out and experience that for yourself.
There's all the squares. I mean, you could just walk around from square to square, and it is like, it's not something you need a guide for, but there are guided tours that take place throughout Savannah. I love the ghost tours. Always popular, and there's so many ways to do a ghost tour in Savannah.
I was on a ghost tour last night and actually have pictures of ghosts.
Did you?
I do.
Now, was it one of the hearse ghost tours? Was it a walking ghost tour? Because there's so many ways to do those here. If
this is the first visit to Savannah, I would encourage someone to take the tour, take one of the trolley tours.
Okay.
It's a great overview of the destination. And there's 3 primary companies that do those tours. There's Old Savannah Tours, there's Old Town Trolleys, and there's Oglethorpe Tours. There's the blue bus, the green and orange bus, and then the white bus. they give you a great overview. They give you the chance to get off and explore and get back on, and so you can take the tour at your own pace.
Well, because when you get off some of those places, one of the things that you have to do when you come to Savannah is enjoy some food. So, I mean, the food here is amazing. It doesn't, I mean, and it could be a dive place, it can be an expensive place. There's just a certain yumminess to Savannah food. So I know that that's probably a part of what a lot of people come to Savannah was for the foods.
It certainly is, and I've actually lived here now for about 18 months, and I think I've put on 18 pounds.
You put on the freshman 15. Well, that's why we encourage then too the walking tours. After that, it's like go to a restaurant, have a great yummy meal. The seafood is amazing down here. Just everything that you get at any restaurant seems to be so good.
Yeah, and there's the staples. There's the Old Pink House, which is really one of my favorites because it incorporates both the history as well as the fine dining, and the food there is just incredible. They have a salad called the BLT salad, which was featured in the Food Network as one of the best things I ever ate. And
so you got to eat that.
That, as the name would imply, it's a fried green tomato with bacon and kind of a drizzle over the top that's just incredible. They have the most incredible blackened oysters. If you don't like oysters,
you love these.
This will change your mind. They're absolutely incredible. Places like Alligator Soul has, I think, the best shrimp and grits in town.
Oh, shrimp and grits is a good one too.
The Sapphire Grill, and there's
just so many. You can't go wrong
to see and explore.
Yeah. Well, and we hope that people will take the time and find the time to get out there and do some of that while they're here. And if they can't do it on this trip, they should come back.
And often.
That's right. There's a lot to see and do. You're going to have to come back often to do it all. But we appreciate you being here, and I know that your office is there to help folks if they're looking for specific things to do, that they can go by and get information on tours. And
we are, and we manage the visitor centers located around town. And again, we can help you with walking tours. We can help you with the trolley tours. We can point you to hotels, restaurants, just about anything that you may have an interest in. We provide maps.
Great.
And all sorts of guest services.
Well, we appreciate it so much.
Take advantage.
And I hope people do, because it's such a shame to come to this beautiful city and not get out there and do some of those things.
I couldn't agree more.
Thank you so much. And we'll go back to Aileen out on the exhibit hall floor.